Speaking to the universe like a god begins when you recognize that your words are not requests. They are signals that shape matter, time, and perception according to their structure and charge. Every sentence you form carries weight only if it's built on internal clarity and energetic consistency. Where there is no contradiction between what you say and what you are, the universe moves without resistance. This way of speaking does not rely on emotion alone, nor does it depend on belief systems or external rituals. It requires alignment between the intention, the tone, and the structure of the identity behind the message. The universe responds to what is fully integrated, not what is repeated out of habit, fear, or doubt. What you're going to hear now is a system of conditions that make your speech a tool of construction. Each principle explains how to speak in a way that generates immediate influence. Because that's what a god does. The first thing you need to know is that 1. Begging energy gets you nothing. Every signal you send communicates who you believe you are, and the universe mirrors that state immediately. When your words carry the posture of lack, waiting, or hoping, the return is empty or delayed, not because you're being ignored, but because you're sending a weak signal wrapped in uncertainty. Because you are the channel that the universe uses to answer you. If that channel is uncertain, the results will be even more scrambled. Speech from absence projects disconnection. It confirms to the system that you are still separate from the thing you say you want, and that separation becomes the broadcast the universe responds to. Authority has nothing to do with arrogance, it's structural coherence. When your words come from inner stability, from a position that feels like this is already mine, the entire energetic field begins to align. You don't get what you plead for. You get what you deserve, what you confirm with calm, steady repetition and internal congruence. That congruence is what makes the difference between command and noise. When you ask from lack, your words fall into silence. When you speak from alignment, your surroundings start preparing. Speaking to the universe like a god means removing the tone of request altogether. You do not submit a wish list. You issue a statement that reflects an already decided internal condition. If your system isn't built to support the words you say, nothing moves. But when the speech rises from clarity, certainty, and emotional neutrality, it is registered as law. 2. Vibration equals vocabulary. Every time you speak, you're transmitting more than just language. You're releasing a frequency made of posture, breath, tone, rhythm, and emotional charge. And that frequency is what gets interpreted by the field around you. The universe doesn't hear grammar. It doesn't recognize effort. It only detects stability, clarity, and strength in your signal. What you say doesn't matter if the energy carrying it is scattered, weak, or misaligned. This is why some people speak very little and shift everything around them, while others repeat the same affirmations with no result. What's being received is not their words, but the frequency behind them. You are not speaking English, you are speaking frequency. This includes what you say internally, what you project physically, and what you hold emotionally in the moments you speak. A sentence said with emotional neutrality collapses instantly. The same sentence said with calm force, rooted breath, and stable rhythm sends a command that carries through the field. That command gets registered because the system receiving it detects no contradiction. It sees no emotional noise, no rushed performance, and no hesitation. It sees pattern, and pattern always receives feedback. To speak to the universe like a god, you don't need special phrases. You need to broadcast with consistency, weight, and minimal distortion. That only happens when your tone and intention are fully aligned and your presence is quiet but structured. The universe doesn't respond to the surface of what you say. It mirrors the depth of how you say it. Calibrate that or stay invisible. 3. Certainty bends physics. Certainty is not a mindset. It's a condition that alters how your system communicates with everything around you. When your words carry the weight of inevitability, they begin restructuring your environment even before any visible result appears. This is not wishful thinking. This is how pressure, timing, and decision-making begin to organize in response to a stable broadcast. The moment you declare something as final, without emotional conflict or narrative inflation, the space around you starts interpreting that declaration as a fixed point to orient around. The field doesn't need to see proof. It needs to detect that your signal is complete. Doubt is static. It distorts the message before it can travel. It doesn't just affect how you feel. It changes how your thoughts move, how your tone slips, how your breath tightens. You might say all the right words, but the system still detects hesitation. That hesitation weakens alignment, delays events, and keeps you in a loop of reconfirming what should have already been set. The more you loop, the more the signal diffuses. You can speak clearly on the surface while carrying indecision underneath, and that hidden conflict is exactly what the universe reflects. 4. Emotional repetition is the dial-in code. The universe doesn't respond to brief signals. One whisper won't shift a galaxy. Your message must be repeated through emotion, thought, and language with enough consistency that it becomes the dominant pattern inside your system. That repetition doesn't just remind you of the outcome, it reinforces it at every level until your body, mind, and external reality start behaving as if it's already been resolved. When a signal repeats long enough without interruption, it starts to override old patterns. The universe begins to register your version as the default setting. You must hammer your reality into existence, thought, emotion, word, again and again, until nothing in you speaks against it. Repetition builds strength, and emotional weight gives it direction. You're not reciting to believe. You're reciting to stabilize the frequency so that doubt no longer takes root. Each time you return to the same vision with the same tone and presence, you're teaching your reality to recognize it. That's how the dial-in code works, not with volume but with unwavering consistency. 5. Use present tense declarations. The moment you say, "I will be," you are placing distance between yourself and the result. You're sending instructions that label the outcome as future, and in doing so, you train the system to delay it. Present tense speech does the opposite. It eliminates waiting. It closes the gap between desire and condition. "I am" commands it now. It tells every part of you and every force around you that the event has already been accepted and installed. Time is a program, and you're hacking it when you speak as if the result has already arrived. That structure forces your identity to align with the outcome immediately, which is what creates rapid changes in behavior, emotion, and perception. Speaking in the present doesn't require you to fake certainty. It requires you to choose precision. Never ask for change. Instead, declare its presence and then let your system adjust to hold it. 6. The universe obeys identity, not requests. The universe mirrors structure, not statements. Saying, "I want this," keeps you in a state of separation from the result. Wanting is not transmission. It is an admission of absence. To shift reality, you must stop speaking from preference and start operating from identity. The universe responds to who you are in motion, not to what you hope for, while remaining the same. You don't need to explain the desire. You need to become the version who expects the outcome by default. Gods don't ask, they emanate. Emanation means your presence carries the outcome in its posture, its tone, and its rhythm. No announcement is needed. You don't negotiate for outcomes. You create alignment so clearly that nothing misinterprets the signal. Requests are unstable. Identity is fixed. When the version you are matches the condition you speak of, the result becomes a natural expression. Not something granted, but something reflected. 7. Create internal evidence first. Before the world responds, you must install the result internally. That means your mind must see it without contradiction, your body must feel the tension of holding it, and your soul must confirm that it already belongs to you. If any one of these elements resists, the outcome stays outside of reach. The external is always the last to arrive, because it follows the architecture built within. No appearance happens before internal confirmation. Results do not begin outside. They become visible only after you've lived them through attention, emotion, and repetition. When the evidence is real in your inner world, the outer one simply adjusts. There is no shortcut. You speak from what you carry. If the system inside hasn't accepted the condition, there is nothing for the universe to reflect. Install first. Transmit second. Receive third. 8. Cut off the signal blockers. You cannot channel divine force while plugged into chaos. Every source of static weakens the signal. Toxic people, endless scrolling, and surface-level affirmations that don't match your state. These distractions don't just waste time, they dilute energy, fragment thought, and reintroduce noise into a system that requires coherence. If your channel is cluttered, nothing clean comes through. You want clarity? Starve the noise. The sharper the signal, the faster the response. That means stripping out everything that contradicts the structure you're building. Real alignment requires a clean field, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Every distraction is a leak. Every leak costs momentum. You don't need more input. You need less interference. 9. Rage, desire, stillness. All are power. The energy behind your words doesn't need to be calm or gentle. It needs to be full. There is no right emotion to speak to the universe. What matters is the charge it carries. If your system is filled with hunger, grief, or even rage, that intensity is not a problem, it's fuel. The field responds to density. It interprets volume through emotional concentration, not tone. What you inject into your speech is what amplifies your signal. Use whatever you have, anger, joy, hunger, and fuse it with your words. The frequency does not favor politeness, it favors force. When an emotion is focused and repeated with direction, it becomes instruction. When it's left unfocused, it becomes noise. Speaking with power is not about control, it's about pressure applied without collapse. Any emotional state that can hold direction without losing rhythm is usable. All forms of inner fire are valid when the structure behind them is steady. 10. The universe doesn't test you, it mirrors you. There are no trials, only reflections. The outcomes you see around you are not rewards or punishments. They are structural feedback, data returned from the signal you've sent. If what appears in your life is unclear, stalled, or inconsistent, it's not resistance. It's your current frequency made visible. The system isn't making you wait. It's showing you what you're broadcasting. If the external looks wrong, you're misfiring the signal. Adjust the broadcast. The mirror has no choice. The faster you correct the tone, timing, and emotional posture of what you transmit, the faster your surroundings reflect the correction. There is no gatekeeper deciding when you're ready. The field doesn't interpret worth, it interprets pattern. Speak with clarity, review what returns, and match it to what you intended. If the match is broken, correct it, and say it again. If you have made it this far, let us know what you think in the comment section below. For more interesting topics, make sure you watch the recommended video that you see on the screen right now. Thanks for watching.